It's okay. We're gonna laugh a lot. Okay. This is great. Hello, everyone. Today I'm here with my friend Anna. She is actually someone I've known for quite a long time. So we've known each other for it was pretty much 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, because that's how long I've been with my husband.
Yes. Wow, so 10 years in the making of this friendship, and now we're here today to talk about a really important story that Anna is so kind in sharing with us, with you, with me, and so I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of her. She is a little camera shy, but she's going to do a great job.
Camera shy. I'm going to be looking this way. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, camera shy.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Anna, as Jennifer had said. I love to do a variety of different things, in those including photography. I do a little bit of artwork, so like painting. I do animal portraits mainly. I also have a photography business with my husband that we've been having this business for, I want to say, about 7 years, but we've been working in that same business for about 10 years. So as long as I've been with him, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. I know that I have been a customer of yours. Her animal portrait paintings are so beautiful. I will definitely put a picture in. I had them made as gifts, and actually my family members really, really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for some animal portraits or a photographer, definitely reach out to Anna.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So today we're going to be talking about Anna's journey. So her journey started quite some time ago, and we just want to talk about it to shed some light in regards to having a baby. Conceiving a baby isn't always easy, and sometimes it takes quite some time. And I can't imagine how difficult it can be for someone to say, I want to have a baby in this specific timeline, and they're waiting, and they're not really seeing any progress. So today we're going to go a little bit deeper into your story. So if you want to take us back to when you first decided that you and your husband were ready to start trying for a baby.
Okay, so I mean, definitely it's a topic that is not as easy for everybody. Sometimes people think that, oh, I mean, you're just gonna get pregnant like this, but not the case, not my case at least. We started planning to have a family around 3 years ago. We were kind of in a time in our life that we were more stable, financial wise. We kind of knew where we wanted to be, what we were, planning ahead for the future and stuff. So we were like, okay, it's time. So we started working on it, and time after time, nothing. Like, we were like, okay, it's kind of frustrating because we feel like, okay, we're doing something wrong, something is wrong with me, or something is wrong with my husband. So we did get tested for different things. It was a journey of a lot of stress, mainly. I believe probably that's maybe one of the biggest things that didn't let me become pregnant, the stress. And stress, I mean, not only from my part, from wanting to get pregnant so bad, but also my family and my husband's family, the pressure that they put on you. Obviously, I wanted to become a mother since I can remember. That's a dream of mine. And I lost my train of thought.
That's fine. So what you're saying is not only the internal pressure with you within your husband, but also external with your family members. So probably saying, when are you guys going to have kids? Which I think is really common when you get married. That's the next big thing. So everyone's always pressuring you. When are you going to have kids? We want grandchildren. We want nieces. We want nephews. So it sounds like that's kind of what you experienced. I want to go back a little bit. You said that you guys got tested. So how long after you guys were trying to have kids that you said, okay, let's try, let's get tested, let's see?
So it was about 6 months into the whole trying to get pregnant thing. I started going more to the gynecologist. My husband got tested also. He did a sperm test and stuff like that. He came back fine. And then with me, the first doctor I saw, he actually had diagnosed me with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but to explain what it is to people who don't know, it's basically a thing where you get cysts in your ovaries. And also, what the doctor explained to me is that when you're trying to get pregnant, it's very hard with this condition. It's hard to get pregnant because it's literally like you're shooting at a moving target.
Okay.
Because I wasn't ovulating. That's what he said. So I was like, okay, well, I'm the problem. He got me into a medication, so it was like kind of a treatment, a 3-month thing that I would do. I would take these tiny, tiny little pills. It was 5 pills. I would take it the 3rd day of my cycle until the end of my cycle for those 5 days. And then I would get ovulation tests. And then if I was ovulating, I would, do what makes you get pregnant. So we did that for 3 months, and it did not work. So that kind of was like a bummer. Anyways, skipping forward to that, we kind of like we were like, okay, maybe it's not the right time. We should just kind of ease it off a little bit, and we did for like, I don't know how long, but I mean, we would continue to have our normal life, but just not thinking about it. And then after that, I went to a different doctor who had said that I didn't have PCOS.
Oh, wow.
He said that I could have, my fallopian tubes could be like obstructed, tapadas. How do you say that? Clogged. So that I would have to get a test to get them cleaned out. This was about a year ago.
So how did you feel when you got that news? First, you were told that you had a certain condition. Then you went to a different doctor, and they said, no, actually, you don't. This is something that we believe is happening to you.
Even more stressed, honestly, because it's like, it was thing after thing. I mean, it wasn't like such a big deal to the point that like, I mean, I guess in a certain way, I wasn't trying like as hard with trying to get rid of all the things that they were telling me. I was just trying to find like more of like natural ways to do things. Obviously, everyone around me, like family members, friends, would give me advice on like what to try, like either remedies or like positions or like temperatures. It's crazy because there's so many like myths, you could say, of like ways to try to get pregnant. But honestly, it's just, I think it's God's time.
Yeah.
Like whenever God
100%.
wants you to get pregnant, then you're gonna get pregnant, So and stress.
If He wants that for you too, I think it's
Definitely.
really important.
Definitely,
because not
yes.
every woman or couple or family is destined to have children.
That is true. That is definitely true. To the point that there was a time that I was okay. Maybe I'm not supposed to have babies. Maybe I'm supposed to do something else in my life. Because we also talked about adoption. My husband has always, since I met him, wanted to adopt. Which at first I was like, I don't know if that's a big responsibility, taking care of someone who's not your blood. But at the same time, a mother or father is not who gives birth, but who raises. So we did look into that as well as an option if we did not get pregnant like ourselves. I'm getting pregnancy brain. It's like,
it's okay. That's fine.
I like forget what I'm talking about in the middle of my sentence.
It's okay. So you said you were talking about adoption. So that was potentially, you got to a point where you said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have a baby. And
Right.
so what is an alternative? You and your husband discussed adoption. So you kind of went through the route. Talk to me a little bit about that. How much research did you do? How deep into adoption did you get into?
We didn't do too much research because we were like not rushing towards that, because we knew that with adoption it's a lot of money, it's a lot of different type of things, and we also didn't know like where we wanted to adopt, because I feel very strongly about my roots. I'm from Colombia, so I always thought like if we're adopting, it'd be cool to adopt a kid from Colombia. And then also, normally people who adopt, they want babies, and it's really hard to get a baby for adoption. It's a long process. From what I've researched, it takes years sometimes to be able to do that. So we did research a little bit, but not like fully into it. I guess we just weren't like 100% committed into that subject yet. It was just kind of like a thought, like a possibility for the future. But
no, I think that's really important to be able to talk about, because sometimes adoption can be an avenue for individuals who are trying to have a baby and aren't able to, or just sometimes people don't want to, conceive their own baby and they want to help bring a family to someone who needs it.
Definitely, yeah, it's very, very true.
So you went to a new doctor. They told you that you had some clogged arteries.
The tubes, the fallopian tubes.
The fallopian tubes, and then you also did some research on adoption. So then what happened next?
So with the fallopian tubes, that was like my next step to like trying to get pregnant, was trying to fix that. So we went to Colombia this past year. It was mainly because of my grandma, my husband's grandma, who was very ill at the time, and we were kind of wanting to do the test there because everything is cheaper in Colombia. But we ended up not doing it. We didn't have kind of the time to do it because everything was more focused on his grandma because she was having a hard time. Luckily, she's really good right now. And then so we came back here and it was just kind of on hold, the testing for that. And this year, which has been a crazy year for everyone,
yes,
with the whole COVID thing, and this year my grandma was diagnosed with cancer, so I'm gonna pause for a second.
So let's fast forward to this year.
Okay, so this year has been kind of a roller coaster, but I feel like that's kind of for everybody. With the COVID thing, it's been crazy and unexpected. And this year also has been going by so fast. It's kind of scary.
Yes.
I mean, it's good because I kind of want to get this year over with, but hopefully next year is actually better. Anyways, this year, around June, my grandma was actually diagnosed with cancer, so I was kind of in the middle of this whole COVID situation, which was a blessing and also kind of annoying. But in a blessing, I mean, because since I have my own business with my husband in photography, we're always traveling, so it's kind of hard to be home at a certain time because we're always moving around and stuff. And then with my grandma's thing and COVID, we were able to actually have the opportunity to move in with my grandma and my mom and help them out while my grandma went through the whole process of chemo and just getting tested and going through all of these big changes for her and for all of us. And so, what was I getting to?
We're talking about this year and, your grandma getting sick and being able to live together really helped everyone in the situation just because of your schedule with traveling.
Right, and then, thank you. And then it also helped because I was able to kind of take care of my grandma, especially because in my household, my mom and my aunt, they don't speak English. So taking my grandma to doctor's appointments and all of these different things, they weren't able to go with her because they wouldn't understand what they would be telling my grandma. So it was great that I was able to be there because I was always on top of all of her medications, all of the appointments that she needed to get. So that helped a lot, especially because I have a big family and everybody was able to help in and pitch in whatever way they could. But most of my family, they work with a certain schedule that they have to go to work. Myself being a self-business person, I was able to kind of, take that time to help her.
Yeah, it sounds like
I wasn't restricted with my scheduling, so that was a blessing definitely for all of us. And then in regards to that subject, I feel like I'm currently pregnant now. I am 14 weeks, which was crazy. especially right now in this time. And it was something that it's even more crazy now that I think about it, because I mean, I feel like a lot of things helped me towards getting pregnant. A lot of people in my life have done a lot of different things, like religiously. I don't consider myself like super religious, but I do believe in God. I do pray to God, and I thank Him every day for like what I have, what I've been through. That I've never had like to struggle really through like really really hard situations like most people have, you know. So I feel like those different things have helped. I have a family member who she was actually in Jerusalem. She got the opportunity to go to it's the Virgin's Milk Grotto.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's actually one here.
St.
Well, in
Augustine.
St. Augustine.
Yes.
Yeah. And she brought me back the milk, and it's like a little powder and with a little prayer, which I actually did that as well for like 2 months. This past year, which I felt like it didn't help during that time, but now that I think about it, it probably did help a little as well, because it's something that led me to the cycle of where I am right now. And with in regards to my going back to my grandma's subject, with my grandma's process, I kind of just forgot about getting pregnant during that whole time, because I was very focused just on her health, on like her getting better. So I feel like that also helped a lot, because it wasn't like constantly like it was for the past 3 years in the back of my head, just me thinking to myself like, why am I not getting pregnant? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what is wrong with my body? And with that, I didn't think about that anymore, because I would just focus on my grandma. And I want to say like midway to her chemotherapy is when I started feeling. The first month I was super tired, just tired all the time. I would like fall asleep in the middle of like anything, which was crazy. And I was like, maybe I'm like sick. Maybe I have like anemia or something. So I was starting to get a little worried. I didn't think I was pregnant, because normally when I would think I was pregnant, I would go get tested and it was like a big fat negative. So I didn't want to go through that again. So I didn't have that in my mind. And so a little bit like a month and a half after, I started having like really bad pain in my lower area. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna get my period, because normally that happens, like I'll get a cramp and then like 1 day or 2 days later I'll get my period. But my period's very irregular. So I was like, okay, it's probably my period. I was actually late. I want to say like a month and a half late.
Oh, wow.
But I never thought I was pregnant, because that's normally my thing. Like, I'm normally late. I'm not like a little clock every single month at the same time. So I was like,
so
okay.
Because there's no consistency, it didn't really trigger like,
Right.
oh, I could be pregnant. You're just like, oh, that's normal for me.
And I used to keep track of my period as well, in like the app thingy. But again, like I was just so not even like wanting to focus on that I stopped keeping track. So I honestly don't even remember when my last period was. Which is kind of crazy. But with the pains that I was having, 2 days after I didn't get my period, and I kept getting like these pains, and I thought it was weird, because I had never felt that constantly for so long. It was about 10 days when I was like, okay, I should go to the doctor, because what if I have like, I don't know, a cyst in one of my ovaries, or what if I have like I don't know, a different condition, like, you know, who knows what, because this year is like the year of bad news. So I went to the ER. My husband was actually working, and I didn't want to tell my family, because they get overstressed, and with my grandma's thing, I didn't want any like more stress put to them. So then one of my best friends actually took me to the ER. I stayed there. She went home, and as I'm getting tested, they're asking me all these questions, like, what was my last period, blah blah blah. And, I'm over here answering, And then the doctor comes in, and he's like, Anna, you're pregnant. And I'm like, I just started crying. The doctor got scared, and he actually left the room because he thought he was giving me bad news.
Oh.
And I was kind of freaking out in a good way, because I did not expect it at all. It was just like, like a big bomb just went off. But yeah, that was crazy. But then they also did tell me that I have a cyst in my left ovary. So that was also why I was having the pains, apart from my uterus expanding. So that's how I found out.
So how did you tell your husband?
So it was I think this is like the biggest news of my entire life. And I didn't want to tell him just of course I wanted to explode and tell him. He actually ended up picking me up from the ER, but I didn't tell him anything because I wanted to make something special. And a week after that, it was gonna be our 7-year wedding anniversary. So I'm like, okay, perfect timing to give him the best wedding anniversary present.
Yes.
So I actually made this big box with 7 presents, one for each year of our marriage. And the beginning of it was just gifts, just a T-shirt or things like that for anniversary related. Nothing.
Do you think he suspected at all?
No, he is he did not. And it's so funny because I did little hints. So in the box there was a little balloon that said "Hi, Daddy," but it had a little drawing of Lilo, which is it's our dog. So it was kind of like a hint, but not really. And then towards the gifts, there was actually 2 letters. One dealing with anniversary only, and then the second one was actually hinting the pregnancy, and it said something like the front of it is you did it, that was the cover of the letter, and then inside I wrote something like our love is so strong. I can't remember quite what I wrote, but it was basically saying how your love is so strong that my heart is now split into 2, but I don't know. I wrote it in Spanish, so it's kind of the translation might be off. And it was something like you planted a seed in my heart. I put in my heart, not in my belly, to not be so obvious, but also giving him and he didn't get it. I'm like, oh God, do I have to draw it for you? But anyways, one of the other gifts was the pregnancy test, and that's when he got it, and it was very, very emotional. We were very happy. He was kind of zoned out for a whole week, just he couldn't concentrate on anything, but he's been great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's been crazy.
So we are sharing this story just to shed light that if it's in your will, if this is what God wants for you, then it will happen. Be patient. Sometimes we kind of create our own timeline, and sometimes that's not how it's supposed to be. So just being open to the idea whether something is for you or not, and just letting that play out.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like that's a huge part of everything, honestly. And like you said, it's not whenever I want, or it's whenever God wants, because honestly, right now we weren't planning it. Literally, this was the time where we were not planning it. We were not having that in our minds because of the whole situation, But God said it is the time, and we're very blessed and we're very happy. So,
and even if that road is difficult getting there, so I know mentally you were I want this. It's not going to happen. It's coming. No, it's not. This doctor said this, and someone else said something else. So just being open and making sure that you are getting the resources and the tools and the support that you need in order to surpass that hump in life. Is there any last words that you would like to share, so people who may be having challenges getting pregnant, or any situation that they're having challenges, any words of hope or inspiration?
I would say something that kind of helped me keep my head leveled is praying a lot, just kind of asking God like what He has prepared for you. Because if things are gonna happen, they're gonna happen. So just kind of be patient. Have don't put so much stress on yourself, because part of the time it's things that you can't control, and part of the time it's probably your own stress that's not letting you, get to be where you want to be.
Yeah, of course.
So definitely, just patience, and just have a communication with God, and He's listening. He's listening. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye.